Hello, welcome to today's episode of The Academy. Today we're going to continue our look at Sun Tzu's Art of War. We're going to pick up in Chapter 2. Now, Chapter 2 is 20 sentences long. We're going to cover it in one video because of those, there's only one sentence that we can actually apply to the tabletop. As I mentioned in the previous episode, some military strategy type literature often includes large segments that don't really apply well to tabletop, and sometimes you'll run across that and give up on the document completely because, well, it's just so much of it doesn't apply. But you have to work through that, try to find the nuggets. So there is actually one nugget in Chapter 2, which is about waging war. Now, overall, waging war is a chapter about how do you actually fight, just from a strategic level. Now, the problem we're dealing with here, that Sun Tzu's trying to face and address, is trying to make sure the war is prosecuted as quickly as possible so that it isn't a drain on the economy or the resources that are in the army. His points are all about the fact that the longer you delay your campaign, the longer it takes, the more protracted it becomes, the more equipment you're using, the more supplies you're using, whether it's food, money, or repair materials. And of course, attrition, we all know that wears down an army completely. And also, if you think about it, again, his points is that the longer your campaign goes on, the more your morale of your men is going to drop, and the more their fighting capability is going to kind of decrease. So that's really what he focuses in the chapter. However, there's a really good nugget that you can extract out of it in sentence 5. It simply states this: thus, though we have heard of stupid haste in war, cleverness has never been associated with long delays. That's it. Now, it's very interesting the way he's phrased that. It starts off, it ends with the idea that cleverness has never been associated with long delays, meaning that a good general, a brilliant tactician, all that, never has ever used long delays in prosecuting his campaign. Okay? Now, the first half of that sentence is interesting because he assumes the readers have heard of something, and that is, you've heard of stupid haste in war, meaning there must be some other type of haste besides stupid haste. And that's, I'll just use the term clever haste. I don't know exactly what it was called back then, but there were two types of haste. One is stupid, and the other is not stupid. And the key here he's trying to get across is, do not delay. Make haste. Do take your actions quickly. Prosecute your campaign as quickly as possible. Do not delay at all. Even stupid haste is essentially, in a sense, better in this very, very narrow definition than a long delay. Because again, this haste is not drawing out the resources and wasting resources of your empire, your nation, as you're trying to win the campaign. So now the reality, though, is let's look at that haste. Haste can be stupid. Rash decisions, brash actions, poorly considered consequences and risks, and strengths and weaknesses. You just rush in and something bad happens. Bull Run, for those of you who studied American West history, Custer had stupid haste there. He charged right in, didn't delay properly, and get the intelligence that he needed to know the disposition of the enemy, the strength of the enemy. He just went in and he paid the price for it. But there is a wise haste, and that's what he's focusing on here. Prosecute your activities, your offensives, with speed, energy, and a clear objective. That will allow you to accomplish the goal very well. Now, that's really it. You apply it to the tabletop the same way. Pick your objectives, and I don't mean objective counter on the table. I'm saying objective, your goal for the turn or the game, and pursue that from the start. Don't hesitate. Don't wait. Don't play chess, so to speak. Trying to bide your time because it's going to hurt in the long run. Put the pressure on the enemy right away and make it happen. Now, it's nice to have Sun Tzu's Art of War with commentators notes, if you can get it. But you shouldn't just get one commentator. Get a multitude. I happen to have the commentator, the one who translated this, Lionel Giles, or Giles, Giles. And I like what his notes on this particular passage, because what he does is he helps us understand kind of some history here. And there have been a number of contemporary and ancient Chinese commentators on Sun Tzu's work through the centuries that immediately succeeded him. And Giles makes the comment that a lot of them kind of missed the point of this particular sentence. And honestly, that's what you want to do. You want to have multiple commentators so you can compare notes and figure out what makes sense. Try to interpret him on your own and see what commentators had to say. And don't just take one person at a time and just only take their opinion. Really dissect it. They're trying to potentially flavor the commentary with what they think or what they want to get across. So here, very straightforward. And what's interesting is that this lines up very, very well with what Clausewitz has even said, where you do not want to delay at all. You want to pursue your objective with the utmost energy and speed. That's what he was talking about. So it stands the test of time. So it makes a lot of sense that this one sentence has more to do with pursuing your objectives with energy and haste, not foolishly, but determined actions, determined strategies, tactics, what have you, so that you accomplish the goal without draining your resources. You do not want to lose the battle of attrition. You don't want to lose the battle of the bank account. Now, this video is going to be just a shade longer because I want to bring up one historical example, because commentators have said, and this is a truth, nowhere in history have you actually seen a delay in a campaign profit the opponent. Profit the general who's delaying. Okay. Now, we're talking about an entire campaign here. There's one example that I'm going to talk about very, very heavily in the next video, it'll be in chapter 3, because it ties very well with the concepts there. I want to bring it up here because I want to basically make the point that don't jump to conclusions on this particular example as how it applies to this particular location or text here. I'm going to talk about the example of Fabius Maximus. After Hannibal came across the Alps and began trashing Italy, he was winning battle after battle, and even on the Battle of Cannae, or Cannae, I think that's Cannae, I believe is how it's pronounced. He completely destroyed the Roman army that was there, and took out about 25 to 30% of the Roman government, because again at the time senators were commanded units on the battlefield. That was a huge blow to Rome. So what Rome did, they appointed Fabius Maximus as the dictator, and his goal, his whole point being, was to take out Hannibal, get rid of him, and that's what he was intent on doing. But he chose to do it without engaging in combat, because he knew that, in a sense, in this maxim, he understood this maxim, but he knew how to weigh the two nations, Carthage, Hannibal specifically, who was operating in enemy territory without a supply line, versus Rome, who was operating in their own territory with their own supply lines. Hannibal was scavenging throughout wherever in Italy he was, to get supplies for his men, equipment for his men. That's how he kept himself supplied, whether it was with money or food or equipment. He didn't have the luxury of getting stuff from Carthage. So Fabius realized that Hannibal could not afford for a long delay in his campaign. So Fabius chose to engage him in basically a war of maneuvers. He didn't engage him in open combat because he knew he'd lose, because Hannibal was undefeated at that point. And so by making him expend his energy and expend his resources, basically run into a situation where he doesn't have much to plunder left. He's going to run out of supplies. His equipment will fail. His repairs. Eventually, his army will not be able to sustain itself away from home so long. He would then be able to come in and wipe up the remnants. Okay, so what Fabius is doing here isn't really having a protracted war from his perspective. He's looking at using a protracted war against Hannibal. And in fact, he's using one of Sun Tzu's principles that we'll talk about next chapter. So let's leave it there and understand that Fabius Maximus against Hannibal is an example of how, in Hannibal's case, a prolonged campaign really was his Achilles heel. So on the tabletop, same thing. Do not delay. Begin pressing your advantage from the first turn, from the first movement of your troops, from the first shot. And then adapt your plans as necessary. So thank you for sticking with me. Share, like, subscribe, comment below. Let me know what you might want me to cover. And I'll see you in the next chapter or next edition of the Academy. Bye-bye.